And welcome, fans, to another good season of Averett Cougar Sports. This is Averett Women's Action. You're going to have your Cougars going up against the Emory and Henry women's soccer team. Tonight's going to be exciting. My name is Eddie Glenn, and I'm going to bring the game to you. Color commentary. You got about 14 minutes till start time. And let me just start off with some Averett Cougars. We're going to start off with the starting 11 for your women Cougars. We start off with number 2, Cassidy Felt. Number 4, Tara Brown. Number 5, Kirsten Clancy. Number 7, Emia Redden. Number 9, Caitlin Barber. Number 10, Emily Metter. Number 14, Rosa Morales. Number 19, Laura Calling. Number 25, Kristen Harris. And number 27, Linnea Meyer. And we've also got starting in the goal is going to be number 0, Bailey Brown. It's going to be a very exciting game. The weather didn't play out too well for these two teams. That it has been everything but sunny today. It's been raining and raining and raining some more. The field is soaked. I got soaked on the way in, and it looks like the Clouds are going to bring in more rain. But these teams are strapped up and ready to go, and they don't want to leave out of here without playing, and neither team wants to leave without a win. So I expect a hard-fought game from these two. Your coaches for today, head coach for the Averett Cougars is going to be Sarah Chapman, and then for the Emory Henry Wasp, it's going to be Macaulay Jones Winstead. Two very good coaches, very good at what they do. Really wanting to win today on this rain-soaked field. Going to see touches going all over the place from these two players. But they've got good control. I expect them to be able to do really well. And I'm also joined here by the great Davin Wilson on air.
Hello, how you doing today, Eddie? You doing all right?
Doing fantastic.
That's good. Good to be on this broadcast with you today. So, Eddie, these two teams last year, they opened up the season against each other last year. And, ended up being a scoreless draw, for both sides. And what was, Sarah Chapman's, Sarah Chapman's, first game here at Averett. So definitely looking forward to another well-played match here today. Season opener for both squads. And Coach Sarah Chapman, and she is beginning her third season. She definitely brought the Cougars up last year to a spot, to a level of success that she didn't necessarily have in her first year. Of course, she did inherit a extremely young team that did not have any seniors on it her first year here. The second year she came along and really did a great job of meshing this team together and getting them to gel. And, they really pulled off some big wins last year, made a run in the USA South Conference tournament. And, they'll definitely be looking to do the same thing again this year, Eddie.
And just a note on head coach Chapman. Last year they finished 10-10 overall and 7-7 in conference. That's 500 on both sides, and that's not a bad place to finish. And there's especially a lot of room for growth this year as they look to move forward from last year and expand 5, maybe even a full 20 wins this year.
And it's definitely possible. And, Eddie, one thing that Coach Chapman has done, and she's done an incredible job of it, she's really playing soccer the way it's supposed to be played right now. She's doing a great job of spreading out the field. Try to get the balls out to the wings, try to draw that defense out towards you, and then you open up that big hole in the middle. And, if you can get a well-placed cross in there, it is incredibly, if not impossible, to defend. And that was the thing where she had the success last year, Eddie.
And it's really good, like you said, to keep the ball on the foot of your wingers and really spread that defense out. The more compact you are in the middle, the more congested it is in the middle, the harder it is to move the ball offensively, and the easier it is for the defense to get a foot in there, like you said. So spread them out as much as you can, and not only open up the cross, but it opens up lanes for center mids to run through and maybe even catch a nice through ball and get it off the foot into the back of the net.
And that's it. And, that's really the big key to soccer. And, Eddie, it's something that you don't really see a whole lot in American soccer, as we were just talking about a minute ago. if you pay a lot of attention to European soccer and, how they play soccer in Latin America and other countries, a lot of it is diagonal runs. And, it's quick 1-2 touch soccer. You get the ball off. And really, when you play soccer right, it's almost like being, Bobby Fischer, the great chess master, because that's really what soccer is. It's a very big chess match. And it looks like we are just about ready to get started here. Both teams coming towards the center of the field for the international introductions here. And we're going to take a look here at the starters for, your Cougars. Starting off is Bailey Brown. She is followed by number 2, Cassidy Felt. Felt is backed up by number 4, Tiara Brown. She is followed by number 5, Kirsten Clancy. Starting in the 5th spot is Irmir Redden. She is backed up by Caitlin Barber. She is followed by Emily Metter. Rosa Morales making another appearance here. And then Lauren Cowling, Christine Harris, and Linnea Meyer. We're going to take a quick pause for the national anthem. And so, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back here to the Averett Sports Network. We're going to pick up where we left off with the starting 11 for each team. So, for the Wasp of Emory and Henry, we've got number 1 in goal, Kayla Wright. She is backed up by midfielder number 3, Lauren Fleming. Senior defender number 9, April Yop, will follow in the 3 spot. Senior defender number 10, Clarissa Martin, will follow in the 4th. She will be backed up by number 11, Skylar Wall. Eddie, she is actually playing in her first collegiate game here today at Daly Field. She is backed up by number 12, Madison Vaughn, followed by Robbie Rodman. Number 19, Ashley Love coming in next. Number 20, Christina Amin checking in. Then number 24, Jillian Hogg. And number 27, Isabel Swafford, will round out the starting 11 for the Wasp. The Wasp are coached by McKaylee Jones-Winstead. She is assisted by Jordan Blackson, Kayla Richardson, and Thomas Winstead. And your Cougars are coached by Sarah Chapman. So we are just a few minutes away from the start of tonight's game, season opener for both teams. Excuse me, ladies and gentlemen, I'm a little rusty. It's been about 6 or 7 months since I've done this, so you might have to bear with a few stumbles of the words tonight. But anyway, really should look towards a very exciting season for the Cougars. I know they definitely have to feel a little bit slighted coming into the regular season, as they were actually picked 6th in the USA South preseason coaches poll. So they will definitely be looking to prove their detractors wrong and showed the conference and really any of their opponents just how good Averett women's soccer can be when it's played the right way. So very exciting time, and almost, Eddie, the summer flies by over here, doesn't it?
It really does. It's hot for a couple of months, and then it's cold for the rest of the year, and it's either cold or raining. And when it's raining, it's cold. So you don't really get to escape it. It's never really hot. But as you said, it really flies by. It's literally 3 months, but it feels like maybe a half a month. So
It really does, and Eddie, especially when you work in this business, if you work in athletics in any aspect, it's definitely a very unusual lifestyle, and but we love it here, and we love being able to bring you all of this terrific Averett action. Speaking of Averett action, if you are interested in checking out our other sports, men's soccer actually kicks off their season today with an away game. Just a few hundred feet north of Daly Field is the Grant Center, and we have the Averett University volleyball team kicking off the Cougar Classic, which has become a tradition here. Just got word in a few minutes ago that Averett actually started off its season with a 3-game sweep of Randolph. And Eddie,
wow.
Right now volleyball has definitely got to be the talk.
And has always been a vocal point of Averett, and head coach Danny Miller is a very good coach and has been a very good coach for 20-plus years here at Averett, as he's won numerous conference championships and made a lot of runs in the NCAA tournament. So we look forward to that team doing good as well this year.
And, they also, going into this season, they actually have I believe it is 22-game conference win streak going right now.
Wow.
I know they went undefeated in the conference last year, which is no small feat. They actually made it to the finals of the USA South Volleyball Tournament, and I remember bringing you that game and really being heartbroken as Meredith avenged a loss earlier in the year to the Cougars to actually conclude the Avenging Angels season, or the regular season, that is. So we are off here. Enough about volleyball. Let's get to soccer. Emory Henry on the defensive early, and that ball is going to be cleared out by Wright.
This will be Emmy Redden on the throw-in. It's back to her. She boots it out towards the goal, and it's going to be cleared out for another throw for Averett.
And that was Lauren Cowling coming in there. Nice run, nice idea. And, Eddie, that's what we were talking about earlier, is that diagonal runs from the Cougars. And I believe we have an offsides on the call. One of the Cougars caught behind the rest of the defense.
And, Davin, the last time these two teams met was 2 years ago, way back when in 2015. These two teams tied in 2 overtimes. So a very well-contested game. Some of these girls even played in that game. So they're going to look to come out of this one with a win. No tie wanted from either team tonight.
Well, and Eddie, as we were talking about earlier, that was head coach Sarah Chapman's first game as head coach over at Averett. She did not have the greatest first season here, but she did have a lot of odds working against her. And, the Cougars really turned around last year, coming off the 10-10 record, 7-7 in the USA South. And traditionally, Averett has a pretty strong soccer program come women's soccer. We actually have an employee over here right now, Emma Olson, who was on the Cougars USA South Conference Championship team. We also had a GA here, Sophia Minton, that also was a member of that team.
And Emory Henry doing a very good job of passing the ball around and not forcing passes. That's a good pass there to get to the top of the box. Just great defense from Averett.
And Averett right now looks like they're playing 4 deep on that back line. That's what it appears. Looks like they've got 2 strikers up. And, one of the big losses that Averett definitely suffered in the offseason was the departure of Annalise Yipsis to graduation. Had a monstrous season last year for the Cougars. I believe she had 3 or 4 hat tricks.
Wow.
And, Eddie, that's not a feat that you see every day at any level.
That's hard to do even from the Ronaldos and Messis of the world.
Yes, sir, it is. It's hard enough to score one goal in soccer, and much less be able to score 3 in a game, not only once but multiple times. But Averett also returns a lot this year. Also returning a lot of talent. They've got senior forward Amanda Gustafson. They've also have a threat in Lauren Cowling and also Christine Harris. So right now that was Ashley Love with the clearance. She gets it over to Yop. Yop, a nice through ball.
Great ball. And she's going to have a shot just right of the post. Just missing a great through ball from the midfielder there to really set up the striker. Just couldn't get her hips around the ball the way she wanted to, and maybe even it's because the ball is wet. As we mentioned, it's been raining for hours and hours here in Danville.
It has. It almost seemed like it hasn't stopped. The last couple of days, it seemed like it hasn't stopped. Of course, all our thoughts and prayers go out to the victims of Hurricane Harvey. And Cowling now on the attack. She's got a couple of moving forward.
There's a good
nice
ball.
Through ball.
And she's going to have a shot.
I believe that was Harris that took that rip.
Kayla Wright in goal to save it. Good hands from her.
And Eddie, I normally have a pair of binoculars with me, or a couple of pairs actually. That's a little bit of a disadvantage here, up here, especially seeing the numbers. But the next time our paths cross here on Averett Sports Network, I will have a pair of binoculars for us. Ball down in the corner now on Emory Henry's side. That's going to be number 24, Hogg. She's going to try to cross one over. It is picked up by Amine, excuse me. Ball cleared by number 21, Banks, it looked like.
It's good ball movement from Emory Henry and great defense there from Cowling.
And Cowling is really the true definition of a midfielder. She can get up there and she can threaten goal, but she also knows when to drop back and play really strong perimeter defense. A lot of the times you'll see your midfielders, they'll kind of, even when they're dropping back on defense, they'll kind of hang out around the 18-yard line. Of course, we see Cowling here on the near post on the corner kick, and ball played over in the box, cleared out momentarily by the Cougars D. Emory and Henry, though, with the ball. And that's going to be number 24, Hogg, with it. Ball dispossessed nicely by number 7, Redden.
And that ball might just get through. And that was Christine Harris that couldn't quite get to it. Great hustle. Had she be able to get to that ball, she could have turned on the Jets and had her a shot one-on-one with the keep.
Well, Skylar Wall did a great job, too, there of shielding the ball, making sure that Harris was not going to get in on her near side. And that's how you play defense, ladies and gentlemen. And it's a good play there by Skylar Wall. So we are just about 10 minutes into this one. 38-28 left to go in the first half here at Daly Field.
Good defense again there from the Wasps. As Averett, they're running the lanes perfectly and finding the open spots and the open runners, and just not able to get that first touch to have a setup and a shot.
And, soccer is a game where it's almost cat and mouse. You just kind of got to keep working in and kind of keep getting in the defense and the midfield's face, and who knows, maybe something might fall through. But meanwhile, Cowling on the far side of the field, nice one-touch ball crossed in, and that's going to be deflected off of Barber, I believe it was. And actually, they're going to say it went off a Emory and Henry defender, it appears. And we are going to have a corner kick. So it's going to be number 7, Redden, the junior midfielder out of Ireland. Very quiet girl, Eddie, but very nice. And here comes the ball. Low line drive. clearance from Yop,
back
it
to
looked
her.
like, but there was a collision down there, and it looks like Cowling is down. I don't know if anybody realizes she is down or not, and there's the flag from the far side. So we're going to check on Cowling. She looked like she was grabbing her shin a little bit, maybe her knee. And we're actually going to have a stoppage of the clock for this one, so let's hope it's nothing too serious. Cowling is up and walking on her own volition.
And it's good that she's up not only for her own health but for her team's health. As soccer, unlike many other sports, you only get 3 subs. So you would hate to have to use that sub in the 36th minute and be out, only have 2 subs there at the end, and players are tired here and there.
Well, actually, Eddie, in college soccer, you do have unlimited subs.
So that's
You
nice.
do.
I didn't know
So,
that.
yes,
That's
sir,
beautiful.
you do. I know it took me a little while to get used to, too, because like you said, in the World Cup or in playing by FIFA rules, you do have the 3 substitutions. But here at the college level, you can have as many as you need. Definitely makes it hard on the stat keepers sometimes, and especially with the press box being on the other side of the sideline over there, it can be very tricky to see who's coming in for who. And that ball goes out of bounds. It was number 4, Brown, giving chase to it. Brown in the game now. Or, excuse me, Brown in the game all along. My bad. Sorry, Mr. and Mrs. Brown. And so Emory Henry trying to sub an attack now. It's number 27, Swafford. Ball play back over. Nice left foot there from Yop. And that looks like Cowling on the defensive end of things. Ball goes out. Averett throw in. Ball back in play. Emory Henry with it right now. It's number 13, Rudderman. And that's going to be number 3, Fleming. Fleming trying to work it outside. Nice defense from the Cougars. Oh, and a little trickery down there on the field, Eddie.
Definitely trying to work her skill moves down there just a little bit closer to that yellow line than she thought she was.
Yeah, I tell you, those that footwork right there, it almost took me back to the days of Michael Jackson videos, Eddie. So Cowling with the ball. She is dispossessed. Averett back in possession, but they are on the defensive end of things. And there's a rip from Yop, kind of a little unrealistic there probably, but never know. Try to catch Brown sleeping. Brown, the junior goalkeeper out of Salem, Virginia.
And Brown, a good keep, 77% saves last year, so that's not a bad mark by any means at all. So she's going to hope to match or even top that this year.
And she's definitely got the capability of doing it. Every time I see her, whether it's in Delano's or I see her Chick-fil-A or whatever, she's always in her Averett gear, and you can tell she's always hard at work. And that's what it takes at this level. So Vaughn, ball played out on the wing. Little bit too much oomph on it as Fleming gives chase, but the ball goes out of bounds. And Cowling dispossessed. Ball out on the wing. Emory Henry starting to pick up a little bit on the offensive end of things. Still very much a game that's being played in the midfield right now. Could be both of these teams just trying to get used to playing with each other, get into competition. You know, Eddie, you play each other so much, you get a little tired and you get a little complacent sometimes. So that's Yop. That ball is played over the top. Brown coming out. Brown collects.
And Averett's going to look to be a little bit more offensive here, as most of this game, like you said, has either been in the midfield or Averett's defensive third. And, you're going to want to keep it either you're attacking mid or you're attacking third, so you can obviously have more shots at goal. So you're going to look to be and get their ball up towards those strikers and towards their attacking midfielders.
And Eddie, a lot of the times is what you'll see. And here's Callan. Callan in a one-on-one situation here. And she's got the ball. She's going to have a shot, but it's going to be Wright coming out. Right out of Franklin County, Virginia. So another local girl, Eddie, 45 minutes up the road, used to play used to play soccer at Franklin County High School. And that ball is going to go out, but I think we're going to have a foul whistled on the play. Ultimately, we are. It's going to be number 19, Love, the sophomore forward out of Zirconia, North Carolina. Hope I am pronouncing that right, Zirconians.
Now it's Kirsten Clancy on the free kick, on the header as well. And that's going to be Christine Harris, almost able to get through on that ball.
And that's Barber. She plays a ball
and
to
there's
Harris
again, looking to make a move. And that cross almost makes it to MEA Redden for a header at goal, just a little high.
And I think it might have actually been ruled offsides on the play, too. I saw the lineman's flag come up in the corner. Redden appeared to be on, and she was neck and neck with the last defender. And there's a header, ball back. And I think that was Yop with the clearance. So Yop, the senior defender, also out of Franklin County, really proving her salt here on this Wasps back line. Ball played in. That was Barber. Redden. Redden over to Harris. Harris, little give-and-go action to Redden, and it just bounces off Redden's foot the wrong way. Good idea there, though, as we saw the give-and-go action on the diagonal run by the Cougars. So we have 30 minutes here remaining in the first half. And, Eddie, we were talking about differences between FIFA and NCAA. Of course, in FIFA, the clock runs a little bit differently than what it does in the NCAA. It runs up to 45 minutes. Ball played over, and that is right.
And almost on cue, Davin, the Averett women's soccer team has been playing a lot more offensive in the past almost 7 minutes here. They've really been in their attacking third, finding some really good lanes, and even have had a couple shots and attempted header on goal. So proven fruitful if they keep taking shots, You never make the shots you don't shoot.
That's it. And I tell you, Eddie, I think you got the back of a T-shirt right there. So Averett right now with the ball. It's going to be number 27, Meyer. Meyer out of Gothenburg, Sweden. Ball played over to Redden.
That's
Redden's going to receive her own pass. Ball goes out. So Redden, the throw to Harris, who was waiting on the wing. Harris has got it down. She's inside the 6. Ball crossed in. Oh, there's a little stumble there, but the danger is not done. And some nice defense from the Wasp. Header there by number 27, Swatford. Calling. And in the end, I believe that's going to be number 10, Martin, with the clearance.
You got to think that's a very stressful situation to be in as Wright. And she couldn't see the ball most of the time down there as it got hung up in front of her. But the Wasp able to clear the ball out and get Averett reset it as Averett's going to set up for a corner here. And this is going to be Redden to whip it in.
Just about halfway through the first half of Averett University women's soccer for the 2017 season. Ball crossed in. And there's a clearance, only temporary though. So there's Harris. Harris doing battle over to Meyer. Meyer's going to have a look, but right to right for the easy save. And speaking of seasons kicking off, Averett football traveling up to Hampton-Sydney tomorrow to open up their season against the Tigers. You can catch all that action and all the other action going on here with Averett University Athletics here on opening weekend at averettcougars.com. You can also get a whole lot of fun insights, neat little tidbits, things to do to kill a little bit of time by visiting the athletic department
And that's
social
a
media pages.
great ball if she can get to it. And the keep came out. That's right. A great defensive mind to come out and meet the striker. Kind of risky there.
It was, and to tell you the truth, it almost looked like Wright might have been out of the box. I know it's been a while since I've looked down on the field from up here, but it almost looked like Wright was teetering right on the edge of that box. And, of course, even the keeper cannot touch it when the ball goes past that 18 or they go past the 18. And we've got a little extracurricular activity on the field by the Wasp. That's going to get whistled. And actually, no, it's called against the Cougars. Excuse me. It's going to be number 12, Vaughn, the senior defender out of Gate City, Virginia. Couple of hours drive from Danville. Beautiful country out there, Eddie. Brown very vocal as she will come out and collect. And she puts a good foot behind that one. Harris will win the 50-50 ball, but only temporarily. Harris back on it. Uh-oh, and now Harris.
Some good touches. And a great slide tackle there from Skylar Wall as Wright is down on the turf, but she's back up and jogging.
I think Averett fans wanted a foul right there, but that was a clean tackle. Nice play by Wall. And there's a ball dangerously played into the box, a little flea flicker. But Brown is right there. Too many F's in that equation right there, Eddie. Always a good idea to try to stay away from alliteration when you're doing live broadcasting. So Callen now has it out on the side.
Ball
Callen
back outside. Nice little scissor kick there.
Yeah, Callen got jiggy with it right there, Eddie. Nice footwork. And that ball is intended for Callen, but played out for a Wasp throw-in. Eddie, it's a pleasure being back on here with you. I know we've been through the battle here together. Been through a lot of basketball games, volleyball games, baseball games. Hopefully you will be kind enough to have me back again.
Anytime. You taught me the ropes, and I'm just trying to keep learning.
Well, you're doing a fine job, sir. You're doing a fine job. And there's Callen. Callen doing battle there, trying to get it, but she's kind of in a lost cause right now as it's 2-on-1. Ball kind of carelessly played there, but the Wasps end up taking it. Now they're trying to get on the counter.
And they do end up with the ball at the end. Played across the top of the box and going to have a shot. Brown able to get to it.
I believe that was Hogg with the shot. Not a bad idea there. Maybe should have tried to go far post instead of the near post. Brown had it pegged. But it's very easy for us to sit up here and say that, Eddie, when we are sitting in a nice, comfortable press box and not having to play a game that moves at the speed of sound.
Definitely, and it's especially hard to control the ball when it's as wet as I could imagine that it is down there, and the field is as wet, as soaked as it is, and tough conditions, but the girls are fighting through it.
They are, and Eddie, you and I both know how wet it is down there. We were down there a little bit earlier getting starting lineups and pronunciations and all that fun stuff, and I I know I heard quite a few puddles we stepped in down there. We're lucky to have this turf over here at Daly Field, though, and really allows us to play a lot of games that might normally get canceled. And, of course, men's and women's lacrosse will start their inaugural season on the field. The blue markings that you see, the blue and yellow markings, actually just the blue markings, are for lacrosse and field hockey, which field hockey we hope to have here before too long. But Kelly Ryan and Tony Mackin getting ready to take the Cougars into battle in their first seasons here at Averett University, as lacrosse has been brought back, was here for a short time, and he didn't have a ton of success. Women's lacrosse had a couple of winning seasons, but I think really one of the big problems they had, Eddie, lacrosse is not a very big sport down in the South. It's definitely much more of a northern game, and kind of, I'm sure, difficult to get recruiting, and especially trying to get kids to come down 12 hours away from home.
Definitely, but we hope, like you said, we hope to build this into a very good program and get the right recruits that we have and get the right coaches on staff and really build this team into a very successful and winning team.
Well, I hung out with Coach Mackin a couple of weeks ago, and he was very he and his new assistant, they were very complimentary of the process. They were very excited about getting out here and seeing what they can do. And they've definitely got a wonderful facility to do it on. We opened up the new stadium last year, state-of-the-art press box that we are now sitting in. And, Eddie, I know I'm not sure if you were here. I think you had started at that point. But anyway, Emory Henry now with the ball. Ball played into the box. That's going to be number 20, Amin, streaking in. Amin with that mean cross, but Brown right there. Brown coming up saying, this is my house.
And now Averett can get a counterattack going. Thwarted by the Wasp defense.
Good idea. Ball just played a little bit too far to the left.
And Davin, you mentioned the state-of-the-art press box. I was unfortunately did not have the pleasure of being on staff at that time, but I am now, and I promise I will get the money's worth out of it.
Well, Eddie, we were in that press box that you see right over there across the field my first year here, and I tell you one thing, it was definitely interesting if it got too hot, too cold, and we didn't really necessarily have a problem with being cold. It was just hot, especially during 1 o'clock football games or soccer games. But we're up here now in the heated and air-conditioned press box, and got a beautiful view down here of Daly Field. I'd like to give a big shout-out to Ja'Cory Burley on the camera here tonight for us. You might just hear Ja'Cory hop in on the webcast here at some point tonight. He's a little shy, but we'll get him past that. Eddie, you've worked with Ja'Cory enough. That's not a problem Ja'Cory has, is shyness.
No, definitely not. He is not lack his use of words there. He does not run out yet. So I don't expect today will be the day that he runs out of words.
I don't think it will be either, Eddie. I don't think it will be. And so anyway, back to the action. We'll stop embarrassing Mr. Burley over here. You will see Mr. Burley in action tomorrow as the Cougars will travel up to Hampden-Sydney. And Emory and Henry now with an opportunity. There's a rip on goal. Brown is there.
Rip from 30 yards out.
And I tell you one thing, Eddie, that shot there from, I believe it was Amin, I tell you one thing, that almost sent Brown back into the line.
Definitely had some power behind it. And
yeah. It definitely had some RPMs on it. And I believe it was a foul whistled on the Cougars.
Speaking of the football team, Davin, they will play their first home game September 9th here at Daly Field, and you will not hear Mr. Burley commentating that game because he will be on the field bringing home the win.
So getting those INTs, right, Eddie?
Yes, sir.
So it's Callan now on the ball. She's got it in midfield. Ball played through. Good idea. Just nobody there. As Averett was still playing back on the defensive end of their midfield a little bit. Had some trouble getting back up. And we are resuming play right now. Ball played over the middle.
Averett able to get to it.
So Wall right now. Wall's going to play that one over to the center to number 12, Vaughn.
And Averett able to get to the ball. It's actually going to be knocked out by a Wasp defender for an Averett throw-in.
And Eddie, one thing that I've noticed, unless I have missed somebody, I don't think I have seen one substitution in this game yet. That is very surprising given the fact that we are 28 minutes into this one. So that's going to be Love with the ball. Love plays it over. Intercepted and a shove off, and there goes the whistle. I believe the referee was waiting to see if Averett was going to take advantage of that. Of course, in those type of situations, you don't want to slow down the game or you don't want to stop the action and possibly cost the team a chance at a breakaway.
Averett with some good passing here.
And actually, we have had a sub, Eddie. It's Gustafson into the game for the Cougars, and we've got a foul down there. Gustafson, the senior forward out of Sweden. Big-time player for this Cougar team, for this Cougar offense. Coming in at 5'6", and I tell you, Eddie, one of the toughest parts of this job is having to see you guys go when you graduate, and the ball is played over, cleared out. Cowling with it right now, but well defended by the Wasps. And that ball is on the line. Play back over the middle off a Wasp defender and out for a corner kick. But, Eddie, one of the toughest parts of this job is seeing you guys come in as freshmen and you get all grown up on us and you graduate and then you go on to bigger and better things. And I guess that's the whole point of college. But so Averett with the corner kick right now. Here it comes. Ball played over the middle. Headed out. Ball played out. It's going to meet three Averett defenders, though. Awkward first touch on the ball. Averett's defense.
Kirsten Clancy on top of the ball there. And that's a good move there from Harris to get past the defender but ran into another one. And, Davin, that's one thing I've noticed from the strikers of Averett. Their footwork has been amazing so far.
It
Able
has.
in one-on-one situations to get into open field and really create a lane for themselves.
Well, and, really neither team right now both team with a few shots, but neither one with really any real opportunities. We're going to have a couple of substitutions here for both sides. Actually, we're just going to have them for Emory Henry right now. We will try to bring you the numbers. Like I was mentioning earlier, I left my binoculars I normally carry with me at the house. Did not know I was going to be doing the game until a little bit later this afternoon. And I broke the number one rule of being a Boy Scout, being unprepared. Loose ball in the box, but Brown coming out easily to collect that one. 13:49 here left in the first half. No score, Gustafson. And that is going to be number 27.
And that's a great through ball. Good cutback, and she's going to have a shot. And that is defended very well there from Wright. She almost batted it into her own goal, able to get up under it and catch it.
Well, Wright showing her seniority here is that ball really kind of hung in the air with the wind blowing. Anyway, Harris is going to have a cross into the box, looking for Cowling. Good idea, just a little bit too much. But, Eddie, I don't know if you noticed it, but the ball kind of It was an old school fashion floater in baseball. Kind of floated up there for a second. Came down against the post, and Wright looked it in all the way. So we've got some more substitutions here.
Alexis Coleman onto the field for Averett. She's going to play up in the midfield area.
So that's going to be a Emory Henry throw-in. Emory Henry, of course, out in beautiful Southwest Virginia. Was actually out that way not too long ago. Was looking at taking a possible newspaper job with the Johnson City Press out there. Eddie, as I've told you before, there is no money in sports writing.
Well, Davin, I assume that's because you're taking it all.
Well,
I couldn't imagine anyone not paying you the big bucks.
Well, I wish I could say that, yeah, but until I meet Bill Simmons or Zach Lowe or one of those guys, I don't know. I think I will be doing that as a side project for right now.
And as we spoke on the weather earlier, as we said, it's been raining most the past couple days, but it looks like the skies gave us its best and has held off for this game. It's not rained a bit since this game has started, and I know the girls are happy at that.
And, Eddie, it's almost actually kind of fun. Of course, with the artificial turf, it won't get like that, but it's almost actually fun sometimes to play soccer in the mud. It's like you get out with your friends when you're younger, when it's real muddy and play football, or when it's snowing and play football, Just something about the extra weather element makes it fun. So Gustafson right now with the ball, and she's going to slip, it looked like. But Yop is going to get hit with a foul.
And it's a good place to take a free kick from.
About the football 27, so you're looking at about 37 yards out, give or take.
I'm going to try and cross it in for a header. And it's
fancy.
put on frame just to the left of the post, Davin. A really close effort there. Good cross from Kirsten Clancy to find the striker, Kristen, Harris in the box. And again, just inches away from sneaking into the bottom of the net.
Eddie, header is one of the hardest things in soccer, especially when you're trying to get a shot on goal, because you're running, you're trying to square up your body, you're trying to make sure the ball comes off the right spot of your head. And Callan double-teamed right now. Almost got sandwiched right there. And that was number 17, Coleman, the freshman forward out of Statesville, North Carolina, making her first collegiate experience. A nice pass over to Gustafson. Gustafson with the give or go.
Just a little bit too much. Like you said, a beautiful give and go there had it connected.
Well, and Eddie, we were talking about in the pregame the strategy that Chapman brings to the table, and so much of it is that idea of, the give and goes, the diagonal runs, taking advantage of the set pieces, and the ball played into the box. Gustafson was streaking, but Yop, a very stubborn defender. There's a shot on goal, and it ricochets on top post. Danger not over yet. And let's see.
Looked like it came off the top post and might have hit that yellow line on the inside of the net, but did not, just in front of the line there, as Averett will set up for a corner kick.
Averett, though, really creating a lot of opportunities right now. You're seeing them play a little bit more aggressive style, Eddie.
And you mentioned before, Harris had that shot on goal that Yop is all over the place. She is playing sideline to sideline soccer.
And ball in the box, and wow, Sadie Burton doing a great job of volleying that one and almost plucking that one out of midair. Not almost, she did pluck that one out of midair. Eddie, I never will forget, I was playing a travel game in Martinsville one time, and we really had a lot of rivalry against this Martinsville team, and ripped a volley and about 40 yards out, and a darn thing ricocheted off the top of the crossbar.
Oh, man, that's the worst feeling in the world there.
Yeah.
Putting it on frame and having it come back to you off the post, that's –
Yep, it's not fun, but c'est la vie, that's the way the game goes. And I'm sorry if there are any French speakers out there. I know that's not what c'est la vie means. So ready to ball into the box to Harris, but Harris is going to get whistle for offsides.
And that's unfortunate. That's the only ball that's hit the back of the net as she beat the keeper to the ball. Just barely, but she did it. Put the ball in. And, like you say, whistled offsides.
Averett fans groaning down there, and it was close. Definitely a shoestring play right there. Take a look down here. I know there weren't a ton of people in the stands when we first got here, but it looks like it is filled up a little bit over here, which we always like to see. Of course, they picked a great day for a home opener, Friday.
And Davin, as vice president of the Blue Crew, our student pep squad here, we're trying to get more and more students and fans out to each and every game. Support our teams, and as you know, on the field, it's always great to have your home support. This plays a big thing in the home field advantage, is having your fans behind you and really cheering you on. It's almost like having another player on the field.
It is. It is. In fact, that's why they call it the sixth man in basketball. So, definitely. And, Eddie, that's one thing about Averett. I graduated from, before I came here and got my MBA, I graduated from Radford University, and really such a big school. It was a mid-major D1, and that ball is going to be cleared out, and that's going to be a goal kick. It was D1 mid-major, and not a ton of kids. It's not a UVA or a Virginia Tech or anything, but it's still a big school, and it was always kind of disappointing because you never really saw a whole lot of support for athletics up there. We didn't have football. We had basketball, but don't have that problem here at Averett.
Students love to support their athletics, and as the mantra goes here, one team, one family, one Averett is something that our athletic director, Meg Stevens, has been pushing, and it's really helped a lot.
It has, and there's Callan right there. She's going to try to sneak past. She's got a tough road ahead of her as Emory Henry has kind of keyed in on her a little bit and have started dropping 2-3 people on her. So Gustafson right now, Gustafson plays that one out to, I believe that is Coleman. It is, out on the right wing. Coleman over to Harris. Harris one touch back to Gustafson. Gustafson two touch, trying to play a diagonal ball. Yob.
And Davin, we are in the final 5 minutes of the half. Teams are going to look to push forward.
And Eddie, I almost wish right now we had and Averett right now with the ball. Harris. But that ball is clear. Gustafson, though, and Harris coming down. Harris is going to have a look. Right comes out, blocks. Harris stumbles, and that allows Emory's defense the chance to recover.
Davin, Harris and Wright in his first half having quite the battle.
They are. And Harris definitely looking to audition for that role left by Annalise Yipsis last year. So that is Gustafson. Gustafson is going to have a look, try to go near post, right, read it well, and collects. So, Eddie, we were talking back about maybe 30 minutes ago, how Averett really kind of needed to try to start attacking a little bit more and maybe stop playing a little bit as much in the midfield. And I don't know, maybe Sarah Chapman hurt us, and or I don't know, maybe we're just on the same page as Sarah.
Well, if that's the case, if I'm on the same page as her, I'm going to start applying for some soccer coaching
for
jobs
some
here.
coaching jobs, right? So that ball is
Whipped
played
into
in.
the box. And Wright's going to get to it. She boots it out. It's going to be an Averett throw-in.
Averett, busy weekend here so far as they will travel to Maryland to take on St. Mary's College on Sunday at 3:30 p.m. Also another team from Sarah Chapman's first year that the Cougars played. And here's some danger right now. And there's a shot on goal, but it's high. Number 25, Horner, Kelsey Horner, the freshman forward from Salem, Virginia, just barely.
And she had a rip. It was about the football 25, so a 35-yard shot. And it sailed just over the top crossbar. And had it been 7 inches lower, we're looking at a 1-0 score going into the halftime.
We are, and, Eddie, I think you might have seen some of that freshman nerve right there. She definitely had a little bit more time where she could have kind of maybe tried to cut to the right, cut to the left. But, Brown is a very aggressive keeper, too. She's not going to let people sit back and play around in her house, and so she was already coming off to cut out the angle. And, Eddie, one thing that you are really ingrained with when you start playing soccer is that when you take shots, you get your knee over the ball and your head down over it. And it's a very easy concept to understand, but when you're down there playing at a very fast pace, it's a little bit easy to let go by the wayside.
And again, easy things for us to say. The fundamentals are always easy to preach, but hard to – and that's a good ball played to Harris, and she's going to have a shot. And Wright's going to be able to grab it again.
And I think Harris is knowing that she had a big opportunity right there. Just went near post with it instead of far post. But Harris really doing a great job here in this first game of the season.
And in the final minute here, Emory Henry was on the attack. Still is on the attack here. Now Averett with a couple good touches and a couple good passes. Final 30 seconds here. Maybe look to have one more last-ditch effort at goal. And they put it on the foot of Harris. And again, that's Yop all over the field on defense.
And ladies and gentlemen, that's going to do it for us here. And the first 45 minutes here at Daly Field, both teams right now have played to a 0-0 stalemate. Both of them feeling each other out. And right now is what you've got is you got a couple of boxers that are trying to throw some light blows early, kind of test and wear down the opponent, and then try to go in for the big kill. So, ladies and gentlemen, keep it locked here. We are going to take a quick break, but when we come back, we will have the halftime show here on the Averett Sports Network.
And welcome back to the halftime show of this Averett Cougars women's soccer action. It's exciting action here against the Emory Henry Wasps. Got some quick stats for you. Christina Amen had 2 shots on goal, and Jillian Hogg had 1, and Kelsey Horner had 2 as well for the Emory Henry Wasps. And for your Cougars, Christine Harris had 7 shots on goal. Her and Amanda Wright, I said Amanda Wright, that's our softball player. Sorry about that. But
Kylie Wright.
Kylie Wright for the Wasps.
Or Kaylee, excuse me.
Kaylee Wright for the Wasps. We'll get your name right. For the Wasps have been battling all game. Saves and a couple near goals there towards the end of that first half. But I expect nothing less of a shootout in this second half.
Well, it will be interesting to see because, really especially opening up the season, what a lot of teams like to do is, they like to play kind of conservatively in the first half. And, you don't want to get too much of your hand away, but obviously you still have to, try to attack the goal and try to make things happen. But, with a lot of what you see, you will have a lot of that. Both teams are very conservative starting off, kind of watch what they do and just kind of make sure that they're not, doing too much to where they're going to get tired. So, Eddie, I think you're right. I think in the second half, I think we will see, a little bit more attacking, a little bit more attack-minded offenses. But, we're also looking at 2 teams here who are very midfield-minded teams, and especially Emory and Henry. Very, very midfield-oriented type team. And, if you look at some of your best teams, your Spains, your stuff like that, a lot of these teams, a lot of your elite teams, international teams, that's the way they do things. They let their midfield set up. Your midfielders have the best view of the field. So why not let the guy or the woman, that's 50 yards out, why not let her have a look at what's going on down the field? And, maybe she can set a chain of events into action.
And definitely, and to your note of being conservative in the first half, we saw that from Averett, especially in the first 15 minutes, playing extremely conservative. And as we mentioned, almost on our cue, they started really turning it up. And as we mentioned, Harris had 6 or 7 shots on frame in the last 30 minutes of that first half. And we expect her to have a lot more if her second half mirrors her first at all.
Well, and, looking here, Averett holding the 9-5 edge right now in shots. So they definitely have been attacking a little bit more here. We'll also look at another important aspect of soccer, which is always your set pieces, your corner kicks, your free kicks, such. Averett actually with 4 corner kicks right now, doubling up Emory and Henry, who just had the 2. And so Emory and Henry will be kicking off. Emory and Henry they are wearing the blue and white jerseys. They will be moving to the right of your screen. Meanwhile, Averett wearing its home white. They will be moving to the left. So we are underway. Let's see if we're going to have another stalemate here in the second half or if we'll get a goal. And that's Harris. A nice little one-touch ball to Redden. Redden trying to set something up on the side. Sorry, Eddie, ran out of breath right there.
You're fine. And one other stat I want to mention coming out of the first half is the fouls. As we look here, Emory Henry had 6, as Averett only had 2. And you want to minimize your fouls because they lead to free kicks. And Averett had a couple of free kicks down inside your football 20, which leads to you're able to cross it in and get some good headers in, as we saw a very good header almost actually go in from Harris. Sneaked by the left of the post. So Emory Henry's going to want to cut down on, I don't want to say be less aggressive on defense, but be smarter on defense this half.
Yeah, and traditionally you get out there and you start playing soccer in Southwest Virginia. Soccer is a rather big sport out that way, and you get a lot of corn-fed ladies and gentlemen out there, Eddie, and a lot of very physical guys and gals, and just You know, and we've seen that with Emory and Henry here so far today. They're not playing dirty by any means, but
No.
you know, soccer is a very physical game, and you know, and we've seen it here with 8 fouls.
And
So-
I'll tell you another thing that's played into a factor is how wet this turf is. We've seen a couple of players slip on the field.
You know, Eddie, one thing that is good, because even with that synthetic turf down there, you can still kind of get into a little bit of a problem with the ball really not moving as fast. You know, kind of maybe getting stuck in some places, and you know, so that's definitely one thing. But that ball is played diagonally. Emory and Henry on the attack. Ball is played back over here. Comes an attempt to cross. It's actually cleared out by the Cougars. Nice defense there by Averett, but the pressure will be short-lived, as it is number 13, Rodeman, with the ball. Some nice defense there by the Cougars. Ball at the midfield right now at the football 35. Ball played back. And a nice little one-touch in. I think she would have liked to have found Horner, who already has a pair of shots today with that one, but no go now. Averett with a loose ball on its end.
Sorry about that, Davin. It looked like Harris might have been able to get through on that ball running down the middle of the field, but that was right able to come up and scoop it before Harris could get to it.
Well, it's what we're seeing right now. You know, like we were talking about earlier, we're seeing two very midfield-minded teams, and I think a lot of that is shown in this game, and that's why it's I don't want to say lackluster in offense, but it's not why it's why that you're not seeing. It's why you're seeing the 0-0 scoreline right now. That was a really long way of saying that, Eddie. I'm sorry.
That's definitely fine, as Emory Henry is on the attack here. And it looks like the winger is able to run that ball down, looking to cross it in, and just behind the net.
And that one just behind. You're right about that, Eddie. Just behind the net.
Couldn't quite get the foot that she wanted to on that ball. And come out for a goal kick for Averett. And Averett, if both teams are going to look to attack a lot more this half. One of them's going to have to put up a goal if they want to score in regular, or if they want to win in regular time. And that's a good ball. Had it had some more on it, that would have been a great ball. Averett able to get back on it. And that's great defense there from the Wasp. Able to get the ball with no foul. And this is going to be a midfielder attacking. Able to have a shot, but right there to save it.
And, you know, Eddie, we were talking about just a second ago, the physicality of this Wasps defense and really the Wasps team in general. We saw it right there. And there's a little bit of a dirtier challenge than what we've seen from the Wasps tonight, but really still all around. I mean, you know, they're a very well-coached, well-disciplined team. And I tell you one thing, right now I'm going to try to do the math real quick in my head, Eddie. So, you know, the last game that they played, you know, you had the 90 minutes. And then so right now we're looking at about 4 hours worth of soccer play between these two teams without a goal.
Yes, sir. And you look, and it's really, really risky, as you mentioned on that last attempt in the box, to push and shove and slide tackle in the box, as referees get a little sensitive there and want to give out a penalty kick. And the worst place you can put your keep is one-on-one in a penalty kick situation.
That's exactly it. And I know I played goalie in indoor soccer. I never played in outdoor soccer. And, of course, you didn't have penalty kicks in indoor soccer. But instead you got middle linebacker size guys getting up in your face, drilling a 70-mile-an-hour ball at you. So yeah, it's not a lot of fun playing keeper sometimes. You know, James Brown used to say, "Give the drummer some." Well, in this case, you need to give the keeper some. So And ball out on the wing right now. Tried to play it in. Deflected off a Watts defender. Ball out of bounds.
They're going to
throw.
play quick to Harris. Off the throw, and they didn't waste any time. Tried to go with a fake kick there. I believe that is Yop that was able to get to it.
Ooh. So, Eddie, I was at the break at halftime. I was checking on some other scores around here. And the men's soccer game right now, looks like it's delayed at Hampton-Sydney, as it was scheduled for a 6 o'clock kickoff, but either they forgot to turn on the live stats there in Hampton-Sydney or they are on a delay. And, of course, Hampton-Sydney is a team that a couple of Averett teams are going to have battle with this weekend. Of course, football team doing battle with the Tigers tomorrow. I will be making that trip on the way up before going up to see my brother tomorrow in Richmond and watch the Virginia Tech-West Virginia game. And
nice.
So I'll be making a stop up there tomorrow for that one.
Got a lot of exciting things going on. World Cup soccer. World Cup soccer is underway around the world. A lot of good teams playing France, pushing their weight around the world. A really good team looking to be the best out in the world right now. Also, college football happening. First games were last night, actually, a couple big games. And actually, Methodist, an in-conference rival, played last night. And they played Campbell, which is a Division I team. And they didn't win that game by a lot. But they played, and they're ready to get back and play some in-conference teams. And as we mentioned, you got college football coming around and NFL coming around, World Cup soccer. So things are starting to heat up in the sports world.
Yeah, it's never a dull moment, no doubt about that. But back to the action here. And the ball will deflect off of Meyer. We'll go out for a Emory and Henry throw-in. 36-10 left in regulation here. And I don't know about that one right there. It was number 25, Horner, whistled for the foul. Looked like it was pretty fair right there, but we will not complain about it, as it will give our Cougars a free kick. Clancy over the top. Harris trying to get battle, but Emory Henry right now stacking that middle of the field, trying to prevent Harris from getting down the middle, and Emory Henry on the counterattack now. But, wow, what a play there by Cassidy Felt to get rid of that ball. So we're going to have number 9, Barber now. Barber with a nice ball to Harris, just a little bit too much motor oil on it.
And, again, that's Harris. Harris and Wright back at action there. Is Wright able to see that ball coming before Harris could. And she was able to get to it. That's going to be a well-played ball to the winger.
And that's going to be Brown. And I think that was a little bit more of a physical play than the last foul that was whistled, but.
And Brown has been showing her foot skills this game out on the wing with a couple good sessions of scissor kick action and all kinds of other fancy moves that I cannot do.
I used to be able to do them, Eddie. I'm a little bit older than I was when I tried to do them, though, so don't think I could do them now.
Davin, I can do them very well on FIFA, just not in real life. So I'm going to commend her.
I tell you, if we were all as good at sports as we were on video games, everybody would be an athlete, right? So Averett with the ball now on the far side of the field, trying to make something happen. They are dispossessed. Ball played back. And that's going to be number 25, Horner, right there. And here's an opportunity, short-lived opportunity for the Cougars. And the ball goes out of bounds, and that is an Averett throw. And we are going to have a substitution coming in here. It looks like Gustafson is coming in for number 27, Meyer. Gustafson, one of 6 seniors on this Cougars team, Eddie. Definitely one of the oldest teams Chapman has had since she's been here at Averett.
And, Davin, sometimes that can be a good thing, having a lot of seniors on your team. They know the system. They know what you want done. They bring a lot of good leadership. And sometimes it can be a bad thing because the next year you have to reboot.
You do. You have to reboot. And then sometimes, too, when you come in and, you have a new coach, you have players who are used to a certain way of doing things, used to a certain style of play, and it just so happens that Chapman's style of play is not too far off from that of former head coaches Carly Pierce. Carly, of course, still with us over here at Averett, working with the GPS program, which allows working professionals to either obtain a bachelor's or a master's degree. Eddie, as you know, I'm a byproduct of that program.
It's nice. Nice commodity to have.
It
to be
is
able
that.
to work and go to school at the same time.
It is that.
Sometimes it's a nice commodity. Sometimes it's a gray hair producing
yes,
commodity.
Yes. And I've definitely picked up a few gray hairs. In fact, I got a haircut today. I was joking around with my stylist about that and was telling her that it's like, hey, I've already started finding a bunch of gray hairs in there. It's what I can't wait for, Eddie. I can't wait to start finding them in my beard, and then I'm going to grow them out. I'm going to look very distinguished, like Mr. Ja'Cory Burley over here. So Emory Henry right now, and that's going to be number 25, Horner.
Questionable shot there from about 30 yards away from the goal, but she let it rip anyway, and it's going to be a goal kick for Averett.
Well, you miss the shots you never take, right?
Yep, I guess that's true.
And sometimes you miss the shots you do take. Eddie, I do have to say I was up here a lot by myself last year. Didn't really have a whole lot of, I don't want to say company because I always had my cameraman or woman up here with me, but definitely very nice to have a partner on the broadcast here today.
It's always nice to be able to talk to someone. You're not
just talking to yourself, right?
Yes.
I tell you, Eddie, I don't know about you, but I have found I have discovered plenty of ways to get very good at talking to myself. So, and ball played into the box. It's dispossessed.
Great defense there from Rosa Morales to get the ball away from the attack of Emory and Henry. As it looks like they would have had that defense not come in from Morales, they would have set up and had probably the best square shot look at goal all game.
And really, Eddie, neither teams, I mean, Averett, they've had a couple of close calls, but, for the most part, really neither goalkeeper has really been severely tested today. Like I said, Myers has had quite a few opportunities to make things happen and to, get themselves on the board, and so is Averett, but nothing that I would consider a real danger. And so that ball is cleared out. It will go out for a Averett throw-in. So 29:45 left in regulation. Of course, we will play overtime if need be to try to break this deadlock. It'll be 2 overtime periods. And that ball is played down on the side, and Brown trying to make sure we don't have to go to overtime. And Brown's cross, it comes off the inside of her foot a little bit too much. I think she was trying to put a little English on that and just got a little bit too much off the actually outside of her foot. Ball like that, you want to try to strike with your laces and your head down and really just kind of get your leg through it and drive it in there.
That was a well-played ball to switch fields from Averett, just as he said, just a bad spot on the foot there from the cross.
Well, one thing I've noticed about Averett right now too, Eddie, is they are doing a very good job of staying spread out. They're not gathering around the ball. They're not gathering around each other. And you know, when you can stay spread out like that, you always have the possibility of loose ball coming out and, you know, getting yourself in a 2v1 situation or a 1v1. You know, a good opportunity to get the ball in the back of the net.
And Rosa Morales is really making her presence felt in this second half of play with some really good defense and on-ball skills, as we see right here, with a good step over there in the face of 3 defenders. And Averett's going to look to be on the attack now and put it back on the foot of Brown.
And we've got an offsides on the far side of the field. I think it was Myers maybe whistle for that. I can't tell if that was Myers or no, it was not. We do have a glare to fight up here, and we are kind of back off the field a little bit. That was almost one advantage to being in that old press box, was that you were right on top of the field sometimes, and it was a little bit easier to see, especially for soccer. Football, it actually made it a little bit more difficult.
Well, as they say, there's pros and cons to everything. And I'm enjoying the new box.
Oh, I am too, Eddie. I am too.
Final 27 minutes of play. We're still locked at 0 apiece. Emory and Henry been attacking more this half than they were last half outside of that first 15 minutes. They've really been on the attack and trying to find some good open lanes, as it is their throw-in. Again, that's Brown with the good footwork.
And Eddie, you know, I know you're probably a little young for this movie, because I was very young when it came out. But it's a movie called Pet Sematary, and that's almost what it felt like over there in the press box over there with all the wasps and all the insects. But anyway, we're not here to talk movies. We're here to talk soccer.
Well, Davin, you should have let one of those wasps sting you, because you might have become a superhero, and you could be on a movie yourself.
Yeah, there you go.
You never know.
There you go.
Although I do not advise that for anyone watching.
No, no. Averett University does not advise you getting stung by a wasp. So the ball is out of bounds right now for an Emory and Henry throw-in. And that's going to be number 12, Vaughn, coming up out of the defensive spot. So looking at this Averett team right now, really the only local who you could consider local, I guess, would be Bailey Brown out of Salem, Virginia. You do have Nia Johnson out of Richmond, and then Emily Kester out of Portsmouth. And then Statesville is not too far away from here. It's still a nice journey. And to make it even worse, you have to either go 40 or 95 to get there.
Come on, Davin. That's always fun.
Well, you've been driving the interstates as long as I have, Eddie. It's they're not fun anymore. And that ball is played off out of bounds for a Emory and Henry throw-in.
And Davin, I don't know if you noticed, but at the halftime break, it started to rain a little bit, and then as soon as we started playing again, it's gone.
It's gone. Hey, we'll take it all day long. We really, really will. And there's a through ball right there, but it's just going to kind of fall into Wright's foot, but she does not get a very good clearance. Kind of commits one of the Cardinals' sins as a keeper, really, of soccer, sending that ball right back up the middle on defense. Nice one-touch action there. Averett trying to switch fields right now. So Coleman, a good idea, getting it out to Morales over there. Morales cutting back inside. Oh, and she just nutmegged Michaela Carter right there.
one of the more beautiful things you could do in soccer.
And, Eddie, I tell you one thing. I've been on the receiving end of them, too, though, and they are embarrassing. It's kind of like the equivalent of falling down the stairs in front of all your friends at school.
Oh, that's no fun.
Well, if you're like me, you just got up and laughed at yourself. So, ball play back over the middle to nobody but Coleman. And Coleman will return the favor as she was trying to switch fields, but right to a Emory and Henry defender. And, Eddie, we were talking about this field holding up in the weather. I remember back probably my first year over here at Averett, we had a weekend where – and the ball is played into the middle, a little bit too hot to handle, like my favorite Otis Redding song. The ball played back in.
And Emory and Henry getting a couple good touches here.
And there's a deflection there, but we were talking about the weather and this pitch here at Daly Field and this artificial turf. I mean, Eddie, I can't tell you how much it rained that weekend, but we were in the middle of a hurricane, and it pretty much rained for about 96 hours straight.
Oh, wow.
And we had doubleheader on Saturday and doubleheader on Sunday over here.
Rosa Morales with great defense there. Sorry to cut you off there. Defending two offensive Emory and Henry players. Able to get the ball back for the Cougars. As that ball is played nicely and defended by Kirsten Clancy.
But, really a ton of rain that weekend, and, we somehow still managed to get the games in. And, of course, we would like to thank the Dailies for everything that they do.
And it looks as if Kirsten Clancy might be catching a cramp out there on the field.
And that's what it looks like is they are.
Possible both of her legs, and that's not a good feeling at all.
No,
Been on the
it's
receiving end of some cramps, some really bad cramps. And they are not fun to go through at all.
They aren't. And, Eddie, I tell you one thing, especially when you get down there, and it's a cool night here, but it's always a little bit warmer on that field down there. So, still might have a little bit of humidity or something going on down there that kind of, makes things a little bit more difficult on the muscles. But she is up and she is moving around, and we are glad to see that.
And Kirsten Clancy might be up on the field, but it looks like if you look over on the Emory and Henry sideline that they're also stretching yet another player out for what looks to be cramps, or she might just be getting her legs loose. So.
Well, at this point in the game, you're really looking at neither one of these teams have overtime on their mind right now.
Definitely.
They're trying to end this thing in 90 minutes, get on home, and enjoy the rest of the weekend. Of course, Averett will not get too much rest. They get 1 day rest. So Gustafson right now over to Meyer. Meyer out to Coleman. Coleman trying to cut it back in. Does a good job of switching fields right there, and she's still switching. Looking like a running back changing lanes right there. Ball is down on the sideline right now, and that ball is ricocheted out of bounds for an Averett throw-in.
And again, playing quick on the throw. Ball. Sorry about that. Ball never goes out of bounds. It's always kind of funny in soccer how that ball will kind of needle walk that line for about 20, 30 yards, and you'll think it's out, and it never is.
Well, I guess the ball must like Johnny Cash there, Eddie, because it, like you said, it definitely walks the line a whole lot. There again, another popular cultural reference you might be a little too young to understand, but
I'm just going to have to step my game up.
But you got to bring it with me, man, especially when it comes to entertainment. And that ball is played out on the side, out of bounds. Now, Eddie Walk the Line is a song made famous by country artist Johnny Cash. If you ever get a chance, look it up. And there's a little extracurricular activity on the field. Ball goes out of bounds in the process. And that's going to be a free kick for the Cougars. Cougars have had a couple of opportunities tonight on some set pieces, nothing really outstanding.
And as we mentioned at the halftime show, Emory Henry wanted to cut down on the fouls, and we've definitely not seen as many in the second half as we did in the first. So a good thing for them, not giving up too many free kicks down on in their attacking third to allow for chances at goal.
And, that's really one of the big things is that, you really do you don't want to give teams free looks at goal, especially when you start getting in there at the 20, 25-yard line where teams can really realistically, have shots on goal and actually, have a chance to finish them.
Emory Henry throw in. Play down the sideline there. Look to put it in the midfield. Defended well by Averett. And that is a great through ball. A chance at goal. Tries to put it near post, and that's right. Extending out and making sure that the ball does not come anywhere near her net.
I tell you one thing, Wright has definitely been the player of the game for the Wasp. And she has really shown her seniority, has shown her prowess, has really come out here and done a great job of keeping her team in this game. She had a total of 7 saves at halftime. I believe that last one should make number 9 for her. So a low cross played into the box. Harris tried to get a decent touch on it, unable to. Ball played back to Morales. Morales across the field. Ball played back across the field again to Harris. Ball played over to Coleman. And Harris, a nice right foot over Gustafson there. Now it is going to be Brown. Brown looking for an opportunity, unable. So Gustafson trying to dribble it in, finesse it, crossover, and Wright once again. Wow. And Wright kind of taking a breather right there, and you can't blame her. She's been busier than a car hop in the middle of the summer here at this game so far.
And it looks like it's going to be an Emory Henry throw in there. And Averett's going to take hold of the ball. Emory Henry actually gets it. It's going to be Brown. On top of it, though, she's going to pick it up. Booting it down the field. This is Rosa Morales. And Averett, again, inching towards the final 15 minutes of play. Averett looking for a goal. Both teams looking for a goal. That is, neither team wanting to leave here empty-handed or going to double overtime as they did 2 years ago. Ball goes out. It's going to be a Wasp throw-in. They're going to play a way down line. It's going to go out for another Wasp throw-in as it was headed out by an Averett defender. And she's going to actually throw it into the box. It was headed out by an Averett player. And she gets it back and has a shot from about 35 yards away from the goal. Easy save. Boot it back out. And now Averett on top of the ball. And a good cutback there.
And Meyer just straight on the give and go action there. She just passed that one up and just started making her run. Seen a lot of that from this Averett Cougar side. And I got to say, I've been very impressed with it. Through ball and a great defensive play there by number 12, Madison Vaughn. Ball played out to number 20, Amin. Ball played back down the line. That's going to be number 25, Horner. Horner in the corner. Look at that, Eddie. I'm a poet and I didn't know it. And Horner playing a little chase her own tail there around the ball.
A poet, a pop culture specialist, a sports commentator. What don't you do?
I don't know. I don't brush my teeth. I'll tell you that much. No, Eddie, I don't do a very good job of shampooing dogs. I'll say that.
Well, it's a good thing that fans at home get to listen to you through their TV if you're not doing a good job of brushing your teeth there. Unfortunately.
Uh-oh, and there's some danger. Oh, and a great play on the back line by Morales to save a sure goal. Danger still not over yet. Ball played into the middle, and Meyer. And this Averett University defense survives its first real test of the evening.
And Averett was just desperate to get it out of bounds, whether it be for a corner or a throw. They did not care. They just wanted to get the ball away and reset. That ball almost sneaked in.
It did, and I tell you one thing, that is a tough way to lose a ball game or to fall behind in a ball game. Of course, kind of at this point in the game, getting down into the last 10 minutes, you kind of got to think that if the first team to score would prevent this game from going to regulation with very little time left on the clock. Right now, game time, we're looking at about an hour and 35 minutes, counting halftime. So really altogether, we're looking at about an hour and 20 minutes of soccer here so far.
And that lines up almost perfectly with the scoreboard. We've got just over 12 to play in this game. Emory and Henry on the attack here. They've got some lanes open. They play it to the top of the box. And a risky play there by the Averett defense as she tried to kick that ball away and missed. Rolls out of bounds for an Averett throw as Emory and Henry have it again. Plays it into the box. No one there. And Averett will kick it out of bounds for a Wasp throw.
And we've got a sub coming in for the Wasp. And Eddie, next time I will make sure to bring my binoculars. Looks like maybe number 14 coming in for the Wasp, or no, 24. We'll let you know here in a second. I think it's going to be number 24. Hogg back into the game. Hogg, the Richmond, Virginia native, Open High School. $11:19 remaining here on the clock. Both teams trying to find that golden goal in regulation. Morales has the ball down the sideline. Trying to switch fields, and whoa, she pulls a little rope-to-dope.
And Brown almost able to get to that ball. Just barely. Not able to get there, but Davin, I went at halftime and took a look at the crowd, and even though it was raining at halftime, they were still here in abundance and showing their support for this soccer team.
It's always good to see. We always love having people come out, and of course the men's soccer, I believe they have their first home game sometime next week. You'll have football starting off at home next Saturday. And then, of course, volleyball has already kicked off their home schedule. Cross country also will travel down to Elon tomorrow for the Elon Invitational, annual event that we take part in down there, and they will be there for that.
Cross country, also another sport that was not my forte if we're talking French here. Could never just get it right. Not too many fundamental and skills involved, but I couldn't get the one right. And I always had problems with the breathing part of it. I could move my legs. I could just stop breathing after so long.
Yes, sir. And I tell you, it kills you, and especially I've been to some of the courses that they compete on, and some are kill ball crossed in the box. It is loose right now, but Averett unable to capitalize. You almost have to, and it actually looks like Chapman has pushed about 3 or 4 attackers up there right now, which took the words right out of my mouth. Was going to be interesting to see if both teams maybe decided to get a little more aggressive here to try to prevent another stalemate.
And to that token, we are in the final 10 minutes of action. That was a foul, or a foul on the play.
One thing I've been very impressed with this Emory Henry team, Eddie, any time a Averett player goes down, they very sportsmanlike, very seem like a very composed, very great group of kids and a great group of young women, and really just it's great to see that type of sportsmanship because, you're down there, you want to be competitive, you want the W, especially to start off the season, but at the end of the day, too, you know that it is just a game. Nobody's going to win or nobody's going to live or die based on the results. And so, you just want to be as sportsmanlike as you possibly can, or sports lady-like as you possibly can. So 8:41 now remaining in regulation. We will not say the contest because we might have overtime on the horizon.
And that's Kirsten Clancy also playing great defense in tonight's game. Throughout the game, going down a couple of times, but able to get back up and continue playing. As that through ball might just get through. And it does. There's no keeper in the net if one of our players can get to it.
And we are going to have a foul whistled on that. So Averett, a definite chance. The ball was played just a touch in front of Harris. Just a touch. You want to lead a little bit. You don't want the ball played right at the feet because then it becomes very hard to control and try to turn and do things with. But I think if there was a little less space in front of Harris or a little less space to the ball, I think this is a 1-0 game right now.
Getting very close. As you said, if she could have got more of her foot on that ball. And again, testament to Wright coming out of the goal and doing as much as she could to stop that from being a score.
And, Eddie, a lot of people, they look when a keeper comes out and they say, well, why does the keeper stay back? Or why doesn't the keeper stay back? Why doesn't the keeper just stay in goal? Why did the keeper get speed? Well, when the keeper comes out like that, naturally, you're cutting down on an angle. And true, those goals, when you're watching the game from the stands or you're up here in the press box like we are, they look very wide. But when you get down there, they're about the size of a grapefruit. And so it can become very tricky, when you cut down that angle. And I think that's why we saw Harris try to take it to the right side, maybe trying to cut that one out to the right, switch it over with the left, and then get the ball back on her right foot for a shot. But you really have to feel that Sarah Chapman, with the exception of maybe working on the finishing a little bit and working on taking advantage of opportunities, has got to be pretty impressed with the way that her team has, performed thus far in the season opener.
And it's been a good performance by both teams, not just Averett. Emory and Henry playing some great defense, something to be proud of from their senior keeper and even their senior defender, Yop, down there. She was all over the field in that first half, playing sideline to sideline, up in midfield, even making an appearance or two in the attacking. But she was all over the field, so a great showing here by Emory and Henry as well. And as you said, Chapman, nothing to be not much. There's always room for improvement, but not much to criticize in this games. Season openers can prove to be ugly sometimes, fundamentally, strategy-wise, as teams are just now getting their chemistry together. As you said earlier, playing yourself all summer, it gets pretty boring.
It does.
Monotonous, repetitive. And so to see someone else for the first time, season openers can be pretty ugly. But this has been a great showing out here.
It has, and, I think it's a sign of things to come for the Cougars this season. I think they'll be very competitive, and I think a lot more competitive than the sixth-place prediction in the preseason. Ball played in. Header and, just a scotch to the right. Not a bad idea right there.
A good headed attempt. Again, just to the right of the post.
So McCallie Jones, looks like she is in her first year at Emory and Henry. So first game for her.
Not a bad first game, if I say so myself.
No, not too bad at all. She spent 2 seasons the last 2 years as an assistant coach at.
And this is Averett with the ball in the wing area. And Emory and Henry will corral. We're within 5 minutes to play in the game. This is Rosa Morales with the ball out to Brown. Brown racing to get to the ball. And that was actually great strategy there by the Emory and Henry defender. The ball was headed towards the back, out the back sideline there, and she ran and kicked it out towards, the sideline. My bad on terminology there, but she did that to allow for a throw in and not a corner.
Yeah.
As we've come close on a couple of corners here today.
We have, and, but we were talking about Jones just a second ago. She spent 2 seasons as an assistant coach at Goucher College in Baltimore. Played at D1 College of Charleston, did Jones.
Nice.
Also played with the Charlotte Lady Eagles of the USLW League.
Good experience.
She does, and on top of that has a Bachelor of Arts in Communications. So, Eddie, right up our line of work. And then she also, she actually is in the process of earning her Master of Education with an emphasis in athletic program leadership and administration from Goucher. She will actually receive that this spring.
Nice.
So,
nice.
Congratulations to Jones. We wish her and the Wasps the best of luck.
It's a great accomplishment to be doing that on top of coaching. And coaching this well, no slouch of a team here. No slouch of a coach either.
They're not, and, you look at a lot of where these Emory and Henry players come from. You got them out of Mooresville. You've got them out of Abington. You've got them out of Raleigh. You've got them out of Chesapeake. You got them out of Gate City, Richmond. Traditionally, these are pretty strongholds in soccer traditionally for the state of Virginia. And so definitely they know where to they know where to recruit.
And as you mentioned, staying local, relative local, they've got one player outside of the states of Virginia and North Carolina, and that player is from Tennessee. So still very local to the area. Those 3 states almost touching each other. So a lot of players. And if you look down the roster, a couple of players went to the same high school.
They did.
As Wright went to the same school as Yop. So, and they're both seniors, so they've been playing 8 years together. So that's great chemistry.
It is, and really, I think out of any sport, soccer is probably the one where experience and playing together is probably the most. And we're going to take a break here for a second for the corner kick. We're going to hold our thought, Eddie. And that one's going to go out for another corner kick again, too. The ball boy getting busy down there in the corner.
And Davin, with just over 1 minute remaining in this game, this corner kick can prove fruitful. It could prove to be the game ender for either team, as if Averett does hit a bad shot, Emory Henry could get out on a great counterattack.
They can.
And really run the field. But here it is. And Harris with a headed effort. Ball still in the box, actually. forces Emory Henry to clear.
And that ball is played out. It will be Gustafson on the throw-in for the Cougars.
And now just 30 seconds remain in this ball game as Emory Henry has the ball now. It's going to be played back out to Averett. 20 seconds left. Averett's going to boot it into the box.
Oh!
And couldn't get her hips around the ball to have a shot. That was a great played cross into the box.
It was really great play there, and just a little unlucky. Had trouble really getting a full leg behind that one. And ladies and gentlemen, we have played a full 90 here at Daly Field. Eddie and I are going to take a quick break, get a drink of water, get a little something to eat, and when we come back, we will have the rest of the action here from Daly Field. Keep it locked right here on the Averett Sports Network. And ladies and gentlemen, welcome back here to Daily Field, where we are about ready to start the third period, first overtime period, or first half, or second half. First overtime period, let me say that.
After a couple tries, you'll get it right.
Yes, I will. Like I said, I'm a little rusty. Haven't done this since May, but it's like riding a bike. You never really truly forget how to do it. So Averett looking for that golden goal as we start things off here.
And it is sudden death type play here. As Averett already in the attacking third. And that's a almost good through ball there to Harris. And for an Averett throw. And they're going to look to keep the ball on the foot of Harris and Brown as they are really good near the goal. Or they're going to have a shot from 35 yards away.
That was actually an attempted cross right there. It was not a bad idea. Was looking for, trying to tell who that is down there.
Well, I'll tell you what, the binoculars will be a help next time.
Yes, they will, and I will have them the next time, Eddie. I will definitely have them. Ball played in, and there's a little bit of confusion in the box right now. Meyer had it there for a second, but dispossessed. So through ball played, and that's going to be Harris. Ball is played up, Felt with the header.
And as you see, Davin, Averett doing a great job of keeping the ball on the offensive and in their attacking third up until this point. And they were really primarily within 30 yards of the box. And the ball was actually in the box there for a second. And attempted shot on goal, but too many defenders all in one spot and not enough attackers.
Well, the funny thing is it looks like Chapman has actually switched back in. Brown coming out making a nice save. It almost looks like Chapman has switched over to a one-striker offense here, as she just has Harris up. She does have Gustafson out on the wing. Gustafson is speedy. Uses her height and long legs to get down the field and really make plays on the ball. And so right now it's going to be number 24, Hogg. That ball is played out on the wing. It's being chased down, the cross over. Brown out to collect. And we're going to have a reset in the play. Brown perusing the field right now, trying to find somebody to go over to. She does. Ball played over in the middle. Harris.
She finds Harris. Finds Gustafson. Another good pass to get it outside. Good pass to Gustafson. Lays it off to Harris. Harris almost able to get it past the keep. As her and Wright, the battle will continue between the two. As that might have been the best look for Averett all game. A good sequence of passes to get really from midfield to a shot on goal. And that could have very well been the game winner had there been about 5 more yards room in between Harris and Wright.
If Harris would have just had a little bit more time to cut that ball to her left, to get it over to her left foot, get it on the outside, and then just take that quick out step, we could be done here at Daily Field. But Wright, the nemesis, I can't think of who a enemy of the cougar is in the animal kingdom, so I can't really make a comparison right now. I guess a cheetah, I don't know.
Speed-wise, maybe.
Yeah, a thorn.
Maybe those pesky wasps.
Yes, those pesky wasps, yes. You know they're crazy in the jungle. That ball is played over the middle, and it is cleared out. And so Gustafson right now, and she's trying to use her speed, and will cross that one right off of number 11, Skylar Wall. And Skylar Wall is sacrificing her back for that one. But now she's sacrificing her head as she heads that one out of bounds.
It's going to be another throw in.
And, Eddie, I don't care how right you do it, you always know when you've headed the ball.
It's a good cross in.
Oh.
And Brown almost able to get to it and have a shot off of the cross. Looked like she couldn't get settled there.
Looked like there might have been a little miscommunication down there by the Cougars. And, Eddie, this rain is really coming down now. If you look under the lights, it is almost a very light mist more than a hard driving rain, though. So I think they'll take that all day long down there. It's a really beautiful sight watching games from up here.
As we mentioned earlier, the rain had been doing a really good job of waiting until the breaks to rain, but we continued into our overtime, and the rain didn't get the message.
We need to do a better job of getting in touch with it, Eddie.
As Gustafson almost able to create something there for Averett. As this is Henry on the attack now. Nice Averett defense. Under 5 minutes to play in this overtime period. It's Rosamond Morales. It's Brown on the ball now. Brown cuts it inside. Has a couple of big touches. Gets it over to Harris. Harris is going to pass it. A nice cutback and a setup. Thinking about a shot here. And she puts it in the back of the net for the first, only, and last goal of the game.
And, Eddie, believe it or not, that was a freshman, Emily Metter, scoring her first collegiate goal in walk-off fashion.
Her first collegiate goal against a team that Averett hadn't scored at two teams who hadn't scored against each other in 2 years.
Yeah, 2 years. Almost. Let's see, we're working on, almost 400 minutes. They hadn't scored against each other, and here it is. A freshman comes in and delivers the game winner. And I tell you one thing, that is how you want to start off a season if you are Sarah Chapman and the Cougars. Wow, what a finish to this one. Looked like we might have been headed to a second overtime period, but Metter will take care of that, and she says we will have no more 10 minutes.
And as we mentioned, we were down in nail-biting time.
We
Under
were.
4 minutes to play in the overtime period, and a couple quick touches, and Metter able to square up. And, again, the best-looking shot on goal of game, so you had a chance to able to set up, take a couple touches, and really eye down the keep and put it where she wanted.
Put it in the upper 90, and Eddie, when you put that ball in the upper 90 like that, you could have Shaq as a goalkeeper. And Shaq is not getting that ball. That's just how hard that shot is from the upper 90. And the same thing goes with the lower 90. A lot of the times I think a lot of coaches are looking for goalies who are able to jump and who are able to really, get a lot of height on them. But you also have to have the type of keeper, too, that can get down. But on that one right there, I tell you one thing, Metter just placed her shot so perfectly that, that was a tough one to block right there. So, well, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to take a quick break. We are going to get some stats, and when we come back, we will wrap this sucker up here on the Averett Sports Network. So, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back here to Daily Field as we have just concluded a thriller of a contest as Averett opens up its season with a 1-0 win in the first overtime period. And out of all things, Emily Metter, a freshman midfielder out of California, Maryland, will grab her first collegiate goal in mad style as she provides the Cougars with a 1-0 walk-off victory. Averett starts off the season 1-0. Emory Henry will fall to 0-1. And ladies and gentlemen, you want a fun fact here. That was the first goal scored by either one of these teams in about 400 minutes in the meetings between the two, as the last time these two teams met was to kick off Sarah Chapman's tenure here at Averett. It ended with a 0-0 tie after double overtime. So you're looking at about 110 minutes there, 210 minutes there of action, and then we got through about 83 minutes here today, give or take a few, and just a really great game between two great sides, two great midfields battling it out. Not a ton of offensive opportunities for either team, but both teams did create them, and in the end it was Averett able to come out and grab the W to start things off here on the right foot. Of course, Averett will travel up to Maryland. They will head to St. Mary's City as they will go head-to-head with St. Mary's College on Sunday. And Sarah Chapman has got to be feeling a little bit of deja vu, as this was pretty much the exact schedule that she opened up her 3 years so far here at Averett with. And so we'll just see if the Cougars can give Chapman her first head coaching victory over St. Mary's. So, ladies and gentlemen, it's been a privilege bringing you this game. It has been awesome to kick things off back here at Daily Field, here at the Grant Center. We know things are just getting started here. And speaking of things getting started, make sure you check out Averett football tomorrow as they start their season against the Hamden Sydney Tigers. That game is scheduled for a 1 o'clock kickoff. Going to do a little research here for you real quick and see if we can get any updates on the men's soccer game, which the last time I checked had been postponed, or at least it hadn't started yet when I checked the live stats. And right now, that game is actually in overtime too. And once again, there was a game a couple of years ago where Averett went up to Hamden Sydney to do battle with them. It was another overtime game, and Averett actually pulled off a win in that contest on the men's side. So for the men's, it was Hamden Sydney starting things off with a goal to take a 1-0 lead, and then Daniel Surley picks up his first goal of the year on assist by Huso Dukic. Hamden Sydney fought back, took a 2-1 lead in the 79th minute on a goal by Eli Strong. And then, of course, this is no surprise here. If you follow Averett soccer, David Cooperman picking up the equalizer, sending it to overtime. So we're going to take a look here at some of the key players in this game for both sides. I think definitely for Averett, you have to take a look at Christine Harris. Christine Harris was just constantly harassing this Wasps defense, always in their face with a shot, testing testing Wright, the Wasp goalkeeper. And just a really great game and a really great momentum boost here for the Cougars to open up the season. So, ladies and gentlemen, as I said, that's going to do it for us here tonight at Daily Field here at Frank R. Campbell Stadium. And once again, it's your Averett Cougars picking up a 1-0 victory over the Emory and Henry Wasps. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm Davin Wilson, and hopefully I will be back here before the end of the season to bring you a little bit more action here on the Averett Sports Network. Thank you, and have a great night.